like the sequel. The sequel will be the Two Dum Yinzers 2, The Shine. And it'll be all about Mike's revenge.
On YouTube.
About mocking him for his bald head.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Good
Derpy,
morning.
you
Welcome back to the
this
show.
good.
This is episode 396 of the Two Dum Yinzers. Good morning. How you guys doing today?
I'm living the dream.
Another day closer to Steeler football.
I am educating Browns fans and all football fans on Twitter right
Yes.
now.
Oh, you're educating, huh?
Yeah, because people believe that edge is an actual position in the NFL. There's defensive end and outside linebacker, two different positions, two different responsibilities, maybe three or four, depending on what defensive scheme you have, but they are not comparable. I hate PFF and what they have done to football fans. They've made them dumber.
Well, anyway, listen. College
I know
football
we came
this
in
week,
positive,
guys.
but yes.
College football. I'm going to go over just a couple games here. I'm not going to go through them all. Derpy, Ohio State, they beat Indiana 23-3.
Not impressed.
Which it's very unimpressive, in which a lot of people are saying is going to drop Ohio State in the rankings.
Oh, I know.
Penn State, your Penn State win. They win 38-15 over West Virginia. I told you this was going to happen. There was no way.
I didn't believe it until the final score went up. There
was no way I thought West Virginia was going to win this game. Pitt beats Wofford 45-7.
Not bad.
They host Cincinnati. They got Cincinnati at home, and then they play West Virginia the following week. So if we win these first three games before we head into that North Carolina game against Drake May, I think we're going to be in good shape. So just all three of these teams got to keep doing what they do. They all looked good yesterday. They all had, even with the exception of the 23-3 win by Ohio State over Indiana, you still win by 20 points. Ohio State should have won this game by more, but all three games win.
Yeah. You're playing a conference opponent. That's going to make the game a little tighter because Indiana may not be that good, but they know Ohio State. They play them every year, and Ohio State has a lot of turnover from good players over and over a year. At least it's going to little growing pains to start the season. By the end of the year, I think they're going to be the Ohio State that we always know and hate.
Tonight, and college football wraps up the Clemson plays. Who does Clemson play? Where am I at? Clemson plays Duke tonight, 8:00 p.m. on ESPN. Number 9 Clemson. So we do have one more college football game before this weekend is over. But guys, we're only 3 days from the opening bell for the NFL season. Only 6 days. Just pretend that we played yesterday and we're waiting for the next game. It is here, guys. We are at the doorstep of the NFL season. Steelers, of course, on Sunday open up against San Francisco at home at Acrisure Stadium. A couple other things in college football before we move on. Last night, a really good game was on TV. The number 5 LSU Tigers versus the number 8 Florida State Seminoles.
That was a great game.
It was a really good game until later when it started to break open and go Florida State's way. Florida State wins this game 45-24. Nice ACC win over LSU. The other big one, guys. This is probably the biggest story in college football over the weekend. Colorado 45, number 17 TCU 42. A lot of things that I think right off the top, I thought TCU was a little overrated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But the Sanders, the quarterback for Colorado, goes 38 for 47, 510 yards with 4 touchdowns. I mean, they put a great game. This was the game that you wanted. However, I refuse to jump on the Colorado bandwagon just yet. You beat an overrated TCU team by 3 points. They have a bunch of good teams on this schedule. A couple of weeks, you have Oregon, and if you look down the schedule, it's going to be a tough road. And if Deion could pull this off, and this team can have a great season and do well, that's fine. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm all aboard. I have an issue though. I have an issue, guys. I have an issue with the comment that Deion Sanders made yesterday, and I'm going to tell you why. You know why I love football? One of the many reasons I love football is this, because to me in football, race doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
it means nothing to me. I don't care if a black quarterback, if a white quarterback. I don't care. My problem with what Deion said yesterday after the game, he said this quote, "When you see a confident black man sitting up in here, talking his talk, walking his walk, that's kind of threatening." I don't think that this kind of comment has any place in football. I just don't. For one, let me just break it down. 56% of the NFL is black. I just want to throw this out there. Just putting facts out there. And for this guy to put this kind of comment, I think it reminds me why I didn't like Deion in the 90s. I respected him as a football player. I loved him as a football player. I really did. And I still to this day say he's one of the greatest football players that ever played. But I don't think that this comment has a place. It has as much place as, and people might argue, and that's fine, as Colin Kaepernick using the NFL as a stage to put his point out there, which again, I don't disagree with, or I don't, I really have no opinion. I just don't think using these football platforms is to spread this kind of word. If you want to say you're becoming off, listen, there's many things that he could have said. This Colorado team, you switched out 80% of the roster. You came in here, you're playing number 17 team. You upset them 45-42 by quarterback throws for over 500 yards. And this is what it comes back to. That's where I think that people didn't feel uncomfortable. I think they feel uncomfortable now because this was said. And also, I don't think that this team wasn't going to win because he was a black coach. That is clearly furthest thing from anybody's thinking. If there's a couple of idiots on the internet saying whatever they're saying, I don't even know what they're saying. I'm just saying I don't think that this was a good comment for him to make. Whether you agree, whether you disagree with me, that's fine. I say you keep race issues off the football field because this is for everyone. Everyone enjoys this. Don't F this up because of an opinion you have. I don't feel threatened. I just feel that it was a stupid comment that is not good for organized football. Anybody have any
I like what you're saying. Yeah, I understand, like in the football sense, like confident black players, confident black coaches. No, but I understand like in outside of sports, there is a segment of society that do not like confident black men. They feel threatened.
Persuade our football, please.
No, I know that, but I understand where he's coming from. But
everyone,
like in the football sense,
keep it for everyone.
There's still even like a small section of football fans that feel that way too, that still think
kids
all
hear
quarterbacks should be white, but like
that's stupid.
But the thing is though, I don't have that experience because of the way who I am. I don't experience that. I can be how I want and no one's going to judge me for it. So he has a whole different life experience than we have, but you do see it in other fields where someone's confident because they're black, especially like in the professional world. Oh, they're arrogant, they're angry. There's a lot of still stereotypes there, but in the football, I really don't see it a whole lot. And like, at least I look, in the bubble that I'm in, I don't see it a whole lot. But maybe in the bubble that he's in, he feels it, he hears it. I don't know, but
put it on the Deion Sanders podcast.
I just remember
like, the ESPN.
Like, no one really
put this message out there.
Being a coach, being black, so I don't know where that came from. I can understand if there's like the 80s, the 90s, but now
him is because he's Deion Sanders. He's always been a mouth. He's always been, and that's again, that's why people didn't like him back in the day.
And that took away from what the players did. He's taking away from the play, and I think that's just his personality to begin with. He's going to take
these players deserve
all the attention,
a lot of credit.
Yeah,
a lot of credit.
Especially that his son at quarterback, to what he did. No, I didn't see this coming.
510 yards.
I didn't see that coming.
Nobody does this.
That receiver / corner. Okay, I knew this kid was like one of the number one recruits when he went to Jackson State with Deion. No one saw him gonna play 110 snaps both way, touchdown, interception, over 100. I forgot how many yards he received. Those guys should have been the story, but then Deion had to make it about himself.
Yeah.
And anybody I see rebutting and jumping in online, it's like, well, come on, this people.
Like I can see, like, if he was like, I don't know, like a politician, a CEO. Yeah. Okay. Make that statement because there is so people do from all walks of life. Like if you're in that position, they will treat you differently. But as a football coach, basketball coach, baseball coach, no. Like if you're good at your job in the NFL,
everyone's supposed to jump on the Deion Sanders ride. Everyone's supposed to just love Colorado. Everyone's just supposed to think that Deion's going to come in to this Division One
stupid to me, something big stupid school like that.
It's like, going to really. They just feels that everyone should come in and just love what. You know what? That's not a race. That's just stupid. People are going to like you. They're not going to like you. They're going to like your football team, or they're not going to like your football team. You can't expect everyone to love the Colorado Buffaloes.
No, I never liked Dio because he was always a cowboy in a 40.
Always a mouth. He had the mouth of
And I was a Rod Woodson fan too. So he played on the two wrong teams and
in San Francisco, in Dallas, in Washington, in Baltimore.
For someone who never tackled, he talked a whole lot of smack.
And again, I'm not bad mouthing Deion, the guy. In the football player, I've totally respected my whole life. And to this point, I had no problem. I listened to him talk his shit for years and years with Steve Mariucci and all these guys on these shows. And you know what? That's where this stuff needs to be taking place within, these shows, the media, his podcast. To get on ESPN and have this message put out there, I think is a bad thing for football.
I'm just trying to think.
Everyone loves this game because there is no issues with race. If you're a black guy and you tackle a white guy, if you're a white quarterback and you throw, that stuff doesn't matter. You're rooting for your team. I think he's bringing ugly trash into the yard, and I don't think it's right.
Because I'm trying to remember any controversies when he took the coaching job of him being the black coach, and there wasn't any. It was
there was none.
It was, are they overpaying him? Are they overhyped coming in?
He comes in and replaces 80% of the team. These are what we're talking about.
That team was 1-11. So that's, I don't mind.
Until he brought it up, I didn't think twice about race. Not twice.
Neither did I. I'm just trying to remember articles, talking heads saying stuff like this. Because if they did, that would have been all over the sports news world.
Absolutely. If this was an issue and then he made this in rebuttal to something said, that's a whole different story.
But I don't remember. And everything should have been about the kids.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And he's taking that Urban Meyer.
You just win this is your first game at Colorado. This team stunk. They were 1-11 last year. You come in, you beat number 17 TCU 45-42. Your quarterback goes 38 for 47, 510 yards, 4 touchdowns. Your toughness, your walk, your talk should have nothing to do besides you came in, you turned this organization around, and you came out and you upset a number 17 team in your first official game coaching. That should be the big that everyone should be celebrating you. And the people that don't want to, they don't have to. I don't think that they're not doing it because you're a black guy. I think that's crazy. I think his comments were out of hand. I think there's no place for them in football. And as I said, go on your podcast, go on these TV shows. That's where you talk trash. I thought, like I said, one more time, I think he brought ugly trash in the yard. I think it doesn't belong.
Because it's kind of like he's pulling like the Urban Meyer, Steve Saban. He was the dude down in Florida State that Bowden, making it about them instead of the players and the coaches.
It wasn't even about him. It was about his color. Mike, it wasn't about his status as a coach. It wasn't about what he did at Jackson State as a coach. It wasn't about anything besides we're threatened. People are threatened because he's up there walking the walk and talking the talk, which is what people expect him to do as a coach. But you know what, guys, we have to move on. I don't want to talk about Deion all day. In the NFL, here's another beef I got. We're on a roll today, guys. Here's the beef I got in the NFL. The Steeler fans named some of the NFL least loyal fans. I understand where this argument could come from. However, let me read to you who the 1st, the 18th, and the 31st in this list are. The first, the most loyal fans in the NFL, according to this list, are the Cincinnati Bengals. The number 18th team on this list is the Baltimore Ravens. And the number 31st team on this list is the Browns. Now, these are the teams in our division. This is why I have a problem. Our team travels everywhere. You go to an Arizona game, that stadium's filled with Steelers. You go to a Tampa Bay game, it's a Steeler home game. The Steeler jerseys, you don't see anybody at a Steeler game that doesn't have a jersey on. It's not Steeler coats. It's not Steeler shirts. Everyone has a jersey. The reason why I think we get this bad rap is because we hold this team to such a high expectation. When this team starts to lose, when this team starts to not perform as expected,
we don't show up to the stadium.
we boo
They
them.
start.
We show up a little less. We don't support them. But you know what? I don't think that's because we're not loyal. I think that's because that's a sign of as a football fan to me. In Cincinnati, if you're going to say they're number one because they held on with this team all these years through stinking. What about the Browns who's sitting at 31? It's garbage. The people in Cleveland love this football team. And you know what? If anybody, I would say they're the most loyal fans. Whenever Art Modell took this team to Baltimore, they were chucking benches out on the field. These people were pissed. They were pissed off. And again, even the Baltimore Ravens, who have such a strong fan base, you put them at 18, that's less than half the way up the list. I think this is crazy. Mike Durpee, what do you say?
Yeah, like I saw this list and I'm trying to figure out like who made this list, because
right, that's what I'm
like, I need what they're smoking.
It was like a betting site. So are they going off by if you're from an area betting on your team to win? Because if that's the case, if you're betting on your team to win automatically, that's kind of stupid. But yeah, like the Bengals fans, like I know when they were bad, I don't remember them selling up that way like the Browns did when they were bad.
Right. That Browns
like 0-16 team, people were going to those games.
They threw a parade for an 0-16 team. Who does that?
Well, when you're depressed, you got to do something.
They're the 31st team.
Yeah, and like some of those. I don't understand where they got that. Like Steelers, I put us a little higher. I don't put us in the top 10. I put us mid 15, 16, 17 in that range because we are a fickle bunch. We'll stop going to games.
I think that makes us the least loyal.
And if you're in the middle of the season,
your team starts losing, anyway.
Just keep showing up. Just keep showing up, supporting them. Loyalty is subjective.
Because our teams have gone 5-11 before, and we couldn't wait till the following season.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going by attendance betting because it was from a betting site. I just don't know where they got because they didn't. From what I remember, this list was posted. There was no factors why.
It's a ridiculous list.
How they came up. I was like, come on, the Browns were really, really low.
As much as
the Browns on the bottom, they should have been in top 4 easily.
And here's the thing: anybody could put. The problem is anybody now could put anything on the internet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah. And no matter what your ridiculous opinion is or what your say, you could put something up there. And all it's going to take is a few people seeing it and making it go viral. And the next thing you know, it's in front of everyone's face. I would have to contest this to say that we're the 24th most loyal fan base in the NFL. That's ridiculous. I don't think anybody would say that about the Pittsburgh Steelers fans.
Like, we have fans all over the nation. My God, because the mass exodus from the 70s when the steel mill industry collapsed, we have fans everywhere. And like you said, fans do travel out of Pittsburgh to go to these games. Tailgate parties everywhere. It's nuts.
I seen a picture just yesterday of the astronaut from the area.
Yeah,
had his terrible towel out in space. I refuse to believe we're the least loyal fans. If anything, people will take this towel.
We got aliens rooting for us.
Aliens. And if anything, you will see this towel everywhere you go. If you go to the war in Afghanistan, I promise you it's there. If you go to the outer space, I promise you it's there. That to me doesn't sound like the 24th most loyal fan base in the country. Guys, so ridiculous. I'm going to move on. Nick Herbig named one of NFL's most intriguing players, guys. Nick Herbig. I think we found us a gem. I think we found us a gem with this Herbig. And you know what I think is going to ultimately be cool with him? At some point, when either TJ goes out for an injury who's out for a season or whatever, and his contract comes up and people are saying, you know what, is this guy worth giving these top dollars? And you know what, and somebody says no, it's going to be okay because we have a Nick Herbig who's coming up playing very well. He's learning from TJ Watt, and he's positioning himself to be the next in line for that spot. If any of those things happen, I think we're going to be okay. Guys, Nick Herbig named one of NFL's most intriguing players.
Yes, very, very intriguing. Like Derpy said, we've been talking about him all off season. Like, because we were targeting.
I tried to tell y'all.
You didn't try to tell us, Derpy. You told us, and then
I did.
To him. And then but he was like that tweener guy. Is he going to be inside linebacker? Is he going to be an outside linebacker? Because he wasn't going to be a DN. He's way too small for that. So it was like, where was he going to fit in, and where would we get him? And oh God, it's what I hate about the preseason. He would look really damn good. How good is he going to be? But he's gotten better all throughout the whole process. From the end of last year till now, he's improved from the end of college all off season, getting ready for week one. So I'm encouraged about it. It's great depth to have. This reminds me of the Steelers of the mid '90s. We always had that third guy.
I haven't seen anything, Mike, from Nick Herbig in Wisconsin in his preparation for the NFL in his first three preseason games that tells me that this is not the guy that we think that he is. There's been nothing. There's been no where you could say, you know what, he's looked really great, but everybody says this, but everything that I've seen personally with my eyes has been really good on Nick Herbig, and for him to be one of the NFL's most intriguing players, I think that hits the nail right on the head.
And I think if they, in practice, they have to be working with him in the coverage aspect, because Steelers linebackers aren't just blitzing every play and trying to stuff the run. They have to do pass coverage as well. They have to be able to drop back in the zone, maybe covering man. So to me, that's like what he's going to have to improve, because he really didn't do it. He wasn't that great in college at that, and it's different from the outside and then from the inside. But once he gets that under control, we can see how well he was playing against the run, how well he was blitzing in the preseason. So once he gets that aspect of it, the coverage aspect of it, he's going to be that complete outside linebacker that we're used to in Pittsburgh. Where
what I love,
Highsmith make that jump as well.
I love our backup linebackers. I can't go on enough about Nick Herbig, Marcus Golden, Quan Alexander, and Mark Robinson. These four guys could be four starting linebackers on another team. They really could be.
They're so explosive.
I would be comfortable with that. Again, I don't want to give up my linebacking core that I have. It's a great linebacking core, but the backups we have, that's got to make you feel confident with this team for many reasons. Injuries, if somebody in the front set of linebackers are not performing for any suspension, whatever, anything that might happen, you gotta think that these backup linebackers got to be one of the best backup linebacking cores in the NFL.
And we need the depth, because last year, Walt was hurt, but outside of that, we didn't have a whole lot of injuries last year. And that pendulum tends to swing from season to season, and I'm worried it's going to swing back to where not major injuries, but those nagging injuries that pop up where you miss a game here, you play a couple, then miss a game, and having these linebacking core just be that deep, too deep at like more or less every position, that's a luxury to have, and I think we're definitely going to need it this year. I just had that suspicion that pendulum swinging back into nagging injuries. Hopefully not on Watt, hopefully not on Highsmith, but I can see one of the two maybe inside linebackers. Holcomb, he had that big injury last year. He looks healthy. The team says he's healthy, but is it going to be that one where the year after it's healed, is it going to take just a little bit longer because he's going to have game action on it after the surgery? Then that's good to have Quan and Landon Robinson, and like you said, Mark Robinson. That big depth at the inside back position is going to be huge.
I think he's ready to take that next step too.
Mark Robinson, he's so close. He is. I think
the fact that he's a backup is a good thing, because you're not exactly throwing him into the wolves just yet. You're giving that opportunity. He's being able to consistently grow as a linebacker, and I think when it's time for his name to be called, Mark Robinson's going to be a beast.
I can see by the end of next year, beginning of next year, him being a much bigger contributor, knocking on the starting door.
Guys, we got to move on. We're going to do our picks later in the week. Of course, we do our picks every week, but I do want to ask you this. I want some predictions right now. On the spot, give me your predictions. What's your prediction for this Sunday's game in the opener against the 49ers at home is going to be? I need predictions, guys. What do you think? Who's going to win, and what? Give me a score.
I'm going 23-20 Steelers and a nail biter.
23-20 Steelers and a nail biter. I like that, Mike. Derpy, who do you like? Give me your prediction, my man, for this Sunday's game. It's here. We're only 6 days away. This time Sunday, we are going to be we're ready to go. Who do you think? What's the score going to be?
27-24 Steelers.
27-24.
Close games.
Boswell game winner.
I thought you were going to go with Kenny game winner drive.
You guys both picked such great picks. It's hard to really deviate too far from what you did. You went 23-20 Steelers, Mike. Derpy, you go 27-24 Steelers. My score is going to be somewhere in that range. I'm going to give it a maybe a 27-20 27. Ah, man, either 27-24 or 27-21 is where I'm going with that. But I am taking the Steelers. I also want to give you guys an assignment. Here's what I'm going to have you do by the end of this week. I'm not going to spring it on you because this one's going to be a little tougher. But I need you to write this down, or if you don't write it down, come back, watch the show, get this information. But sometime in the middle of the week, I'm going to come at you with this. For this NFL season, who's your predictions on who's going to be the MVP?
Ooh.
Who's going to be the offensive player of the year? Who's going to be your defensive player of the year? Who's going to be your offensive rookie of the year? Your defensive rookie of the year? Your coach of the year? And finally, your comeback player of the year. Come up, as I said, I think the answers will be better if you think about it. So I gave you that information. Yeah. Figure that out. Maybe midweek, Wednesday-ish, give or take. We will cover those lists and see what everybody thinks on that. We are down to 5 minutes of the show, guys. So I have to move on here. The Pirates did play yesterday. They've won 5 of 6. 5 of 6, Mike, coming in to tonight's game because they were on a 5-game winning streak. I'm sorry, until yesterday. They lose game 3 against the St. Louis Cardinals after winning the series. They lose 6-4. Kutch, Peguero, and Andujar all had 2 hits. Andujar also had a home run in there. Oviedo threw for 3 2/3 innings, gave up 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 6 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Their next game is tonight. They start a 3-game series against Milwaukee at home. 6:35 game 1. Probables is Corbin Burns, who's 9-7 with a 3.55 and 167 strikeouts for Milwaukee. The Pirates did not name their starter yet. They're playing Pirate pitcher games, like anybody cares who they're throwing, It is no concern to anybody, but there you have it. Pirates, Brewers tonight, game 1. Also, Mike, I have to give you a list. I don't want to leave the NHL out because they are right around the corner.
Yes, they are. It's very, very close.
And I know you love lists. So here's my list to you. Top 10 franchises of all time in the NHL. Are you ready?
I'm ready for this. I'm going to be fired up for this one.
Number 10, going up. Number 10, Colorado Avalanche. The Colorado Avalanche. 10th best
that
NHL
seems about right, Mike.
program of all time.
Avalanche / Nordiques.
Yeah. Well, the Nordiques weren't that good back in the day.
No. They were getting a little bit better before they moved.
Owen Nolan and these guys like this. Number 9 on the list of 10 top franchises in NHL history is the New York Rangers. The Rangers, number 9. Number 8. Same city, different stadium, Nassau Coliseum, the New York Islanders.
Haven't been relevant since the 80s, but okay.
These are of all time.
All time. I understand.
Number 7, the 7th best NHL franchise in history, the Chicago Blackhawks. Number 7, the Blackhawks.
All right, I can see it. They've had success all throughout the NHL.
Number 6, the 6th best franchise of all time in the NHL goes to the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers.
Once again, a franchise that hasn't done anything since the 80s.
P on the board. Hey, welcome, P. Nice always seeing you, brother. P on the board has Detroit has to be number 1. You know what? I'll give you this. Detroit is in the top 5. Number 5, the 5th best hockey franchise of all time, guys, goes to the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins is the 5th best of all time.
Low.
And the team that's ahead of them, I think you're going to argue they just haven't done anything in forever, but at one time they were great. Number 4 on the list, of course, is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
They haven't done anything recently.
They haven't done anything since the
anything my whole life.
They haven't done anything since the expansion era.
Yeah.
This is all we're just going to get all the best local players.
Number 3, we're down to the final 3. These are the 3 best teams, according to this list, in the history of NHL franchises. Are you ready?
It's going to be number 1.
Number 3 is the Boston Bruins, who somehow have less cups than the Penguins, but they are above the Penguins.
Yeah, somehow.
Number 2,
really two good players.
The Detroit Red Wings. There's your team. P. Number 2, the Red Wings come in 2nd of all time. And finally, I don't think it's any surprise to anybody. The number one team, and this team has about 20 some Stanley Cups, and this is, of course, the Montreal Expos. You can't take it away from them.
The Montreal Expos.
The
Canadians,
Expos.
I'm sorry.
Canadians.
But you cannot take that away from the Canadians, as you cannot take it away from the New York Yankees. They have 20 some championships. Lakers, Celtics, right up in there in the teens. You can't take it away from them either. Canadians, best team ever in an NHL franchise.
Let's see, like the Maple Leafs, like I said, they haven't won anything since the expansion era. Since
I can't believe they're in the top five. That's crazy.
It's that old school Montreal or that old school Canadian thing. All the original. There's a lot of original 6 teams on here, and they're laughable because most of them haven't done.
They haven't done anything since there was only 6 teams.
Yeah,
the same thing with the Canadians. They haven't done anything since like Canada. The Canadians, they would always get all the best Canadian players to come there.
They never away from them though. I mean, they won a lot back then. Yeah. But it's still they won 20 some, and so you got to give them that.
Got to give them that. But the Penguins should be at least 3.
I think they're ahead of the Bruins. I think they're ahead of Toronto. Toronto, I think you put them at the end kind of as you're tapering off the top 10 just because they were what they were. They weren't anything great like Montreal, but they were what they were. So again, you could kind of taper off the top 10 with Toronto. The Bruins, I think, you know what, for some reason, Boston just kind of gets it, and they always.
I don't understand it because they had Bobby Orr and Phil Esposito. Yeah, that's about it.
So the Penguins, I think you take those 2 teams out.
Yeah.
You move Pittsburgh up, and even the Oilers, like as you said, they haven't been relevant since
they haven't done anything since the 80s. They were a flash in the pan.
But
same thing. The Rangers,
can't see
the Islanders,
Boston. So, hey, before you know, you're gonna be throwing that Tampa Bay team up here, man.
I would replace like Tampa Bay, the Rangers, and the Islanders with Tampa Bay. What they've done, maybe even the Kings.
Yeah. So there you have it, guys. Mike, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website, man?
Dumyinzers.com. And over there for everything. I'm hoping this Sunday for kickoff of the Steelers season, kickoff of the new and improved website.
Oh, nice. Looking forward to that.
Yes, that should be ready to go.
Peace says, so Detroit it is. Yeah, I guess.
It's true.
It's true.
It's damn true.
But we got a lot of things going on this weekend. Of course, we have the Steeler game. Mike has the website. We are going to be rolling on the 400th episode of the 2 Dum Yinzers. So there's a whole lot of things going on. Mike, website.
It's everything.
A lot of cool things over there. Go check it out. www.2dumyinzers.com. All right, guys. So we're going to be closing out this week, about time, the San Francisco 49er trivia questions. It seems like we've been doing these forever. We're going to do it again today because this is who the Steelers play this week. Are you ready, guys?
I am ready.
All right, Derpy, you live?
I'll be just as ready as
Derpy.
The Browns.
You'll be just as ready as the midges are when you go to a game at Cleveland Stadium.
Yes, exactly.
See how I worked in the midges?
Yes.
All right, here we go. As soon as Mike, can you hear us? See, he can't even hear. What's he doing?
He's kid.
Derpy, but Mike, you ready for the question of the day?
The kid wanted to say hello.
All right, question of the day. Here we go, everybody. San Francisco 49ers. What year were the 49ers founded? Guys, as basic a question as any. What year were the 49ers founded? You could take a stab at it if you'd like. If not, I will give you some choices. Everybody, we're live every 7 days a week, Monday to Sunday, every week right here. And the show that we do live every day gets uploaded over on Spotify at 8:00 p.m., where you're able to listen to the show anytime. If you're at the gym, you're in the car, just go ahead and pop it on the podcast, and it goes up on Spotify every day, 8 p.m. Check it out. All right, guys, question of the day is this. What year were the 49ers founded? Do either one of you guys want a selection?
Yeah, I'm going to need a selection.
All right,
Derpy. I do too.
All right. What year were the 49ers founded? A, 1968. B, 1946. C, 1955. Or D, 1937. One more time. What year were the 49ers founded? In 68, 46, 55, or 37? I'm going to start with Mike. Mike, what do you think?
Let's go with B.
B, 1946. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
You always go with B when you don't know. I noticed this.
B or C.
So we're going to lock you in. Derpy, what year were the 49ers founded? 1968, 1946, 1955, or 1937?
Okay, go.
I'm going to go C.
C, 1955. Now, is this your final answer?
Yep.
All right. And P on the board says 1968. So we have a nice array of answers to go on here. So here we go. What year were the 49ers founded? Were they founded in A, 1968, B, 1946, C, 1955, or D, 1937? P says A, 1968. Derpy says C, 1955. And Mike says B, 1946. The answer is, guys, 1946. Mike, you are correct.
Correct. I guessed that one. I pulled that one out of the air.
I wouldn't have guessed that far back if I was guessing.
This little guy right here knew the answer. He fed me the answer.
I wouldn't have guessed 1946. I mean, that's only 13 years after the Steelers, but hey, you know what? When you're not alive, I guess you don't really know what the hell happened. And I was not, obviously.
Yeah.
Derpy, do you got anything before we get ready to take off for today?
Do not run into midges in Cleveland if you go to the Cleveland game.
And these midges. Mike.
It's football week finally, officially. Let's go.
It is football week, guys. We have NFL coming up. We have the season opener on Thursday night, guys. This is Monday. You realize that, right? Thursday night, we do have the season opener, which is the Detroit Lions and Kansas City Chiefs. And only 3 short days after that, guys, everybody else to go. Mainly for us here in Pittsburgh, the Steelers hosting the 49ers on Sunday, 1 o'clock. Everybody's ready. Nobody knows if Bosa is going to be in. Got a whole bunch of storylines going on. We will be hitting the rest of the week. You got Purdy's elbow. You got the Bosa contract. So we're going to have a lot to talk about. My thing is this, Mike. Derpy touched on this the other day as we start to taper off the season from baseball. The Pirates are still 13 and a half games out of first place, but there are only 7 games out of a wild card. Do I want this team in the playoffs? No. Do I think this team could do anything in the playoffs? No. But because in May, at this point in the season, they are only 7 games out of the wild card spot because they have like 50 teams that enter now in a wild card. But you know what? Maybe that's why it was designed that way, is to get more teams involved who usually are not involved. So there you have it, everybody. Anything else from you guys?
I got nothing.
I got something.
What's up, Derpy?
6200, 7's on the way.
All right, 6200. We know what that is. But of course, Steelers got 6 Super Bowl wins. Ravens have 2. The Ohio teams both have big goose eggs, big zeros. Real quick on the board, Lions going to pull Colorado, go Buffs. You know what? I agree. I don't know if I agree, but I'm definitely rooting for Detroit in this first game. I would like to see Detroit win, and I think if they did, that would be interesting. But anything else? Speak now.
Here we go.
Here we go.